Welcome back to the Frugal Craftsman. I have been working, trying to get everything ready for my sawmill. As we talked about last time, I have the spaces all ready for a 12-foot section of lumber, an 8-foot section, and a 16-foot section. You'll have to excuse the smoke. I've got a fire going over here, getting rid of some of the debris that I've been working on. But I just wanted to take a few minutes and let you know what I've been doing here the last few days. This is actually going to be the pad where I lay my bandsaw, or portable sawmill bandsaw. And you can see here, again, being frugal, I am trying to avoid having to spend too much money. I did break down and buy 4 2x6 by 12 because obviously I haven't got my sawmill to cut anything yet, but I need a place to put my sawmill. And so I purchased those the other day at Lowe's. They're about $10 a piece, so I invested about $40. Now someone may be thinking that that's not going to be heavy enough. If I find that there's give to the mill, when I'm sawing, I can always put another layer down and give another thickness there. But what you'll notice I did here, I don't know whether you can see, but I'm going to zero in here closer. What I did is I took these pillars, or were just old logs that had fallen down over there next to the road, and there was still enough solidness in the middle of them. And what I did is I dug holes down in the ground and compacted the soil underneath them as much as I could, and then I set these pads, or these posts, about every 32 inches on center. And what I did is, as the ground tapered down to one end here, you can see it's level over there and then tapers off here. What I did is I just made the posts a little longer, but I tried to get them down in the ground about 6 inches or so, or 8 inches. The frost here, the level here in Tennessee is right around 12 inches is the code. But most of the time here in the woods, the frost probably wouldn't get in the ground any more than 4, 5, 6 inches. And so this will be fine. I'll keep you posted throughout the winter as I get milling. But what I have here is a good solid base to work on. And like I said, I've walked, I stand on it, and there's not a lot of give to it. But what I did is I took extra time in doing this to get the pads level and straight as possible, so that way when the sawmill comes, and although it has adjustable feet on it, I've purchased a Woodland Mills HM122. What I hope to be able to do is just do minimal adjustment of the sawmill feet, and so I can try to keep it as low as possible. Now I'm going to bring this down, and you can look down across that and you can see that this is pretty straight right down across it, and it'll take minimal amount of leveling when the time comes. And what I did is I took some 3.5-inch deck screws and I just screwed them down into you can see the screws here where I screwed them down into the top of this post. It's extremely solid. And like I said, some people lay pads down and pour concrete and buy a bunch of blocks and everything. And of course, being the frugal craftsman, I decided that I would try to do this as cheaply as possible, and still hopefully this thing will work. And I can't see any reason why it wouldn't work, because all it needs is a solid base to work off of. Now what you'll notice is that the lay of the ground up towards the wheelbarrow there and this lumber is actually coming downhill, and so by the time I get the sawmill there, I'm hoping that I'll have maybe the maximum of maybe 4 to 6 inches that I have to roll up grade. And what I plan on doing is, up on the upper level, is having it roll up onto the grade there, and then have this almost level, so I'll have skids running across onto the sawmill. So I can roll those logs right on the sawmill with my PV with very little friction. Now you may be saying, well, why did you put your sawmill in front of those two trees? Well, those trees right there are going to come down, but all they are right now is holding those logs. Those logs are going to be the very first thing that I mill out, and because they're only 8 feet, I think the longest piece I had is 12, they'll be able to roll by, roll by the end of that tree out onto my sawmill and be kind of in the middle of the sawmill, because I've got the extension for my sawmill that'll go out to about 16.9, and so I can set my 8-foot stuff here in the middle. Also, you will see hopefully a little later in a later video when I get milling, I've got to mill a little bit longer stuff than the 16-foot track will allow. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to try to remedy that. As a carpenter, I think if I can make things out of, I always say if I can build it out of wood, I can do it. And so I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to make a couple track extensions out of some hardwood. Just enough to get the extra couple feet that I need for the sawmill, on the sawmill, to get my extra long pieces for the rafters. But again, the reason I'm doing that is, hey, I'm the frugal craftsman. I'm trying to save as much money as possible, and I just didn't want to invest another $300+ in another track extension just for a few pieces. And so most of the stuff that I'm going to be cutting on here is going to be 16 and 12 and 8s. And so, as I said, the sawmill is scheduled to be here in the next couple of weeks by the 31st of October, and so we're hoping to have this up and running in November and try to get some of this stuff milled out. Now again, as we're working through here, you'll notice up here on this end, these are right flush to the ground. So I've set those right down flush to the ground. There's a space underneath of the 2x6, so water can flow. But eventually the plan is on these trees to string a tarp and have this portion kind of enclosed, so I could always mill in the rain if I had to, because I've got a tree there that's going to be up for a while, and these trees, the first little bit, will be up for a while. So there's 4 trees here that I can attach to, and the trees that do have to come down, when they come down, I'll put up some other posts, and 8x8 posts or whatever, to actually hold the tarp. But until then, we are at least getting one step closer. Just to give you a time frame of what this took to do, to dig the holes here, the ground was really rough with a lot of roots, as you can imagine. But once I got through the roots and got the piers all in and tamped down really tight and leveled everything off, like I said, I used sledgehammer to drive them down, hard into the ground, and then I leveled them off with my 6-foot level and got everything as close to level as possible. But this took me probably about 6 hours to do. I did it mostly on Saturday and got most of that done. But it took about 6-7 hours to get this all level. And like I said, the main thing with a sawmill is to make sure everything is level and the tracks are level, so you can actually get good even cuts on your wood. So yeah, that's as far as costs. Like I said, in this base right now, I've probably got about $50 in this base. And like I said, if I'd had my sawmill running and had a place, I wouldn't even have purchased those pieces of wood if I didn't have to. And so again, going to keep at it, trying to get this project underway so I can get my lumber cut. Like I said, I want to try to get it drying out for the winter, and the winter is the best time to do it. It's not, most people think that the summer is best, and summer is good, but we also get a lot of moisture in the summer. But the winter air tends to get a lot drier. And so we're hoping that down here, especially in Tennessee, even though we do get moisture, that the drier air will actually pull the moisture out of the wood faster throughout the winter. Again, we're hoping that the code is to get down to 19% before an inspector can come and grade the lumber. And so that's my plan, is to get everything dried down to that content before he gets here. So, like I said, just bring you up to speed of what we're doing here. Like I said, best way if you can to get rid of stuff is, some people chip it. Most of this stuff is really wet and green, or just it's been laying around the property for years, and so I find the best way is to burn it into ash, and then you can just when the ash is all cooled off and done with it, we can fill in holes with it, and it's a lot easier to get rid of stuff. And so again, this is some of the material I'm going to be using, cutting boards and 2x4s and stuff. I know a lot of that's hardwood and poplar, but I'm just going to use it on a shed to start out with. And as far as the oak material, I have a red oak over here. These 4 logs, I guess 5 logs, I guess it is. These are actually a tree that fell down over the hill. I noted that, I think, last time. And these particular trees should yield out some pretty good red oak. You can, once you get past this portion of the sapwood that's rotted out, this is all nice and hard, and so we're going to see what that wood looks like. And like I said, I probably won't use it for anything like furniture or anything like that, but we'll have it around to use for whatever I need. And so until next time, just hope you keep tuning in, and I'll keep you up to speed on what's going on. But until next time, from the Frugal Craftsman, I hope that you have a great day, and we will see you hopefully within the next few days as I continue to do some cleaning here, and I'll give you an update on how things are coming with the sawmill. Till then, see you next time.